Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Art of Fine Art America. I'm your host, Don Ravi, and today I am having a meeting with a great artist and painter. Her name is Inez Ellen Titchenal, and her paintings always seem to amaze. For more information about her art, please visit the link that I attached in the description below. With no further ado, let's jump right in. Hello, Inez. I'm glad to have this meeting with you.
I understand that you went to the School of Art, academic art.
I went to School of Arts in San Diego. Took a semester in it, and went to U of A college in Tucson, Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
and I studied art there, which was great. Had a really good time doing that. And then I went to Memphis State, and I got into more type of art. In different avenues of art. The one thing that I really enjoy about art is there's so many different avenues you can take.
Of course.
I studied, I got into textiles, and I got into clays and earthware and stuff on that order in Memphis State, and besides getting into
So more in the fashion industry, or?
Yeah. Well, I was big in the fashion industry for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
I was rather born into it. My grandmother and my mother were in the fashion business growing up.
Interesting.
So, but I was into painting at a young age, and I had to really kind of stop doing that to get into my business through my life, and I finally had some time to really get back into it again about 8 years ago. So, and now I'm quite content about doing acrylic painting and watercolors.
I love your work. You have wonderful watercolor artwork. I saw a lot on your website, and it's truly moving. So, for example, the seaweed picture that you drew, it was quite wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
And also your photography is also nice. You have a great eye for design, I must say.
Thank you very much. My photography, I work with a couple of cameras. I work with the Canon camera, and then I have
the DSLR, right?
So, and I really enjoy doing pictures of oceans, landscapes, trees. I love trees. So, and my son really enjoys taking pictures of bugs.
Of bugs, okay.
Anything small. My camera doesn't really do all that great for doing small, and I really enjoy doing things that have motion.
Yes. So not only macro shots, you also like the entire view, so landscape. Not only macro shots, but also landscape and scenery, so to say.
Yeah, I like doing anything to do with the ocean. I really enjoy that, and I really enjoy boats. So I seem to sell most of my art when it comes to small boats, which is kind of interesting.
Small boats, okay.
So I've sold lots of my art here on Fine Art, which is kind of nice. I really enjoy watercolors. I got into watercolors about 5 years ago, and I keep learning more about it. And this one thing about art is it's an ongoing learning process. I don't think you ever stop learning how to improve,
Mm-hmm.
how to add or to your painting things that you can make it pop. I want you to look at my paintings and see things going through it. So you
Yes.
can actually look at it. The closer you get to it, the more you can see into the painting.
To see the entire story, the entire plot of it.
Exactly.
Yes.
I want you, every time you go into, I don't care how far away you look at the painting and how close you look at the painting, you're going to keep seeing something in the painting. And I really enjoy that kind of a feel.
Returning to what you said, that art is always changing, do you find that it is better to work with acrylics, with oil, or watercolor? Because it's a different process for each one of them.
On watercolors, I'm finding there's more going on with watercolors to enhance the watercolor.
Mhm.
So more so than I've noticed in acrylics or oils. I don't really work with oils. Um, I like using oils if I want to make the acrylic
Yes.
pop, I guess you'd say it, to make it more enhance the glow or the shine or the to bring out white
Yes.
or gold colors, or yellows. Those would be ones I would use the oil for.
Mhm.
Thomas Kincaid was probably one of my favorite artists that I really enjoyed watching him pop colors of yellow and white out of his paintings. And I've always wanted to kind of do that in a way that's totally different than what he did it. So you're always constantly learning how to do that, to make those paintings something small in the painting, to make it, you'll come back and wonder what that was and go back to it again.
Something to remember it for.
Yeah, it's rather interesting to watch adding different things to your painting. And I've seen different artists, and I really kind of enjoyed watching different artists show me something different that they do that is so I would never even thought of it, because they use other type of things to make their paintings pop. They have nothing to do with paint.
That's true. And nowadays, with the old digital era, and so it's even more up there, so to say.
I'm not really too fond of digital, maybe because I'm not really rather good at it, and I think it's if my hands are not touching the brush,
Yes. It's a different feeling.
it's a whole different. Yeah, exactly. It's not. It probably is a fantastic thing to work with, and the more you work with your computers to get these done, I do think some of them are very pretty, but I don't know. It's and they do some beautiful work. I just have not got into it. I keep learning with the process of watercolors, and there's more right now in watercolors that I think are more interesting, that really pleasing to the eye, that you can have so much fun with. Of course, it's a very delicate type of play to work with
Of
your
course.
watercolors, because you got to be very careful.
Yeah, the mixing of the colors, it's pretty fast, and you can really go back after it. It's you can go over it, but you can go back.
Can't erase that. It's not the easy to erase. Or you can in watercolors, you can erase and then restart over. Oils, I'm not too sure about because I think if I think
It's too
I
hard.
don't know. I think it'd be a little bit harder to do that with acrylics. You can.
Yes, in acrylics it's a lot easier, but in oil, I've tried oils for a little while and I saw how hard it is, and I said, okay, I'm gonna stay with acrylics, with watercolor.
Oh, so you did try working with oils.
Yes, honestly, I tried almost everything. I started for a little while, I must say, so 3-4 years back. But watercolor and acrylics were the best for me because the drying time it's a lot better. So with oil, you need to stay at least 24 hours to work again on that topic, and that's a bit too long for me. So the time is too much.
Did you ever really enjoy watercolors?
I did, but I like to experiment things, and then I started with digital and with 3D modeling, and since digital, almost every painting is digital. I do now and once in a while, some acrylics, but not too much watercolor lately.
How long have you been dabbling in the art world?
About 3.5 years now.
Okay.
I'm still young. I'm still learning. So with watercolors and this stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't study it. I'm self-taught, and for about 10 years I was a dabbler, and now with 2020 I started with because of more free time. I started with art, and
I've been finally got to do more art. Really practice my skills. I've been doing it now for about 10 years. It's to find the time to do it, and now I have the time since I decided to retire. It makes you find a lot of time before you retire. You're lucky if you can actually play on the weekends.
of course, yes.
I do have friends that they make the time to do it. They find it relaxing, and of course I do too. I could spend hours painting.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it. But when you're in the workforce, it makes it really kind of hard to actually work your skill. I have had my arts in a gallery. It's the gallery that I put my art in was here in San Diego, California, and it's in a studio on what we call 30th Street. In 30th Street, it has a lot of schools for art.
Oh, nice.
But they have one huge art gallery that a lot of students even put their art in, and they allow this art in their gallery about I think it's about 4 or 5 times a year. They open it up for people to bring their art in. You can bring about 4 pieces of your art, and people come in and actually buy your art, and it goes really amazingly fast.
That's nice.
Up.
That's cool.
Yeah, you get your art up, and people come in droves to actually look at the art and buy it. And it's 2 floors gallery, and it's just absolutely gorgeous place to put it and to sell your art. And you have 1 month that you can sell your art there, which is really kind of lovely.
Do you also need to be present, or just let the art go?
You don't have to be present at all for it. You can get back with them and see if your art's sold. And then they have a big wine and cheese get together with your art there.
Mhm.
So it's a night of I think the last one I did was for I think it was the fall session, which was November. I have not done the summer session at all. But they have they have times they have themes where you can bring your art. But I don't necessarily like to go with themes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that November and December are one of my favorites because people do buy a lot of art and then they put it in their homes,
Yes.
which it works out great. So I've sold a couple pieces that way.
Was it a theme? Was it a theme?
Was it
So
what?
as a winter theme or something like that?
The theme didn't have a theme for the holidays, so your art can be anything. That way you can show your type of art, which that you really enjoy. And now that's going to be kind of hard because most of the art that I do, and all of it's rather different, but it's mostly landscapes.
Mm-hmm.
All except for the watercolors. The watercolors, I do abstracts. And I really, really enjoy the abstracts. And they're all really different, and I really, really enjoy doing them. There are some that are done with trees. So, and I like unusual trees as well. So I do a lot of work with trees and abstracts in my watercolors.
I think you posted some of them on the group on the Art of Fine Art America. I think one of them was called Underbush.
Underbush?
Yeah, it was something with burgundy and burgundy and blue.
Oh, that was done after like a mudslide. Oh, underbush.
It wasn't a tree. It was some kind of floral thing.
Right, with the flora. That was a ground cover, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes, it was a ground cover of wildflowers that was in the woods under
yes. It was quite lovely. It was really lovely to see.
Oh,
and
good.
I really appreciated it that you posted on the group because, as I said, I think that you have quite interesting pick for design, so to say it. You're not only with your watercolors, but I also saw it through your photographs and some acrylics that you posted, and it was quite lovely, I must say.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, and I'm in my studio, which I do most of my art here. I have a lot of it on the wall, so you can see some of it.
Yes.
I'm very lucky.
These are the originals, right?
Yeah, these are the originals. Yeah, these are my originals. These are the ones that I just love. And I really, I put them in frames and I put them on my wall so I can really enjoy them. The one thing about my paintings is there's so many I really enjoy that I have them all over my home.
Honestly, now I feel bad that I don't have a video camera on this PC because In my room, I have at least 20 pictures on my walls that I drew. I think it's something that every artist makes. Huh?
It's I've been working on this one back here.
It looks marvelous.
Yeah, this is like in a deep coming out of a deep woods going into the light.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy. I've always said when I was a very young girl, I used to like the idea of going into the real dark woods,
into the unknown, so to say.
Yeah, just like always. I had a very dark woods near my house, and my parents always say, "Don't go in there because it's taboo. It's you'll get hurt." And I always find that to be more interesting to go into a woods,
especially as a child.
Oh yeah, I find it kind of fascinating. I've done a couple of paintings that I would put into a child's room, and they're done with kind of balloons, old balloons that they used to use like in the 1800s.
Oh, okay.
But they're down towards the ground, or a lot of them are going up. But it's more of a dream type of a picture of a landscape with these old type balloons going to the ground. I found that kind of interesting when I was doing acrylics.
I would like to see that if you want to post it.
Oh, I will. I'll be glad to. There's
I kind of have some kind of imagination, and I try to imagine it, but I think that seeing the original, it would be a lot better.
If you got a dream and you think you can put it on a canvas, then that's the fun part of trying to put it together. It's like, you got it, now let's see if you can add the dream that when I was very young, I think I was like 5, my father, I looked up in the sky and there was this huge balloon, and I kept saying, I asked my father what it was, and he says it's a weather balloon.
Oh,
and
okay.
I thought that you could actually pull it down and I could play with it, but of course but it was nighttime. It was getting dark out, and I couldn't believe that someone would have a big balloon up in the sky at dusk.
You painted a real dreamscape right now. I must say that your painting that you showed that you're working on, it brings me some kind of idea of Alice in Wonderland.
Oh yeah, I think so. It's going into the woods. You're going into where it looks like it has rained, and the ground cover is a little bit wet going into it. So that kind of gives you kind of a rocky type walking up towards the woods. And the trees are very, very big. Like, one thing we have here in California is huge redwoods. They're the oldest trees in the world.
It's the forest right there with the 300 years old or something trees, right?
The trees are huge. You look like an ant in front of them.
Yes.
You look so small because the trees are like so huge, and they're so tall. It's almost unbelievable that a tree could last that long. These trees in my painting are not as big, but they're big in the painting to make the forest look like it's really, really big.
A kind of a vastly idea, so to say.
Rather on the fantasy type look.
Yes. I still have a question for you, because until now saw how the art is always moving. What do you think about the next type of art? What do you think? Because nowadays everybody's talking about non-fungible art, and I can't really put my finger on it.
What kind of arts do you think is going to be coming up next?
Yes. Do you think that the acrylics, the oil paintings will still be searched for, or the digitally created one will be more looked for?
Digital art is getting to be very, very popular.
Yeah.
More so because there's easy access to it.
Yes.
So, and I think children are learning computers, and they're working on gaming, and gaming is getting into art. So, and they're building their own art. So they're starting at a very young age, and it's less money to invest to do the art.
That's true. And you're perfectly right with children, how they are, the process of learning, it's so fast nowadays that it's incredible. So
yes, it's totally, it's I think the true artist that's going to be in paintings and oils and I think watercolors are really going to advance itself more. I think that is one part of art that is really going to keep moving. I think it's going to advance a little bit more than it is now. But digital art, digital media is our mixed media is definitely going to
improve.
Move forward a lot more. And I don't think people who do oil paintings and acrylic. I think acrylic is always going to be fun for a lot of us. But one thing that we really enjoy it, and the one thing about painting versus doing digital is painting. You use your hands. That's actually working with a canvas.
True.
And that's something that once you have it done, you can look at it, you can hang it up. Digital art, you can print it,
and that's it.
But it's not the same.
Yes, I think so too. So honestly, I'm looking at myself as somewhat of an old soul, because it's like reading. You can read on a tablet, or you can have the book in hand, but it's better in my experience, it's better when I have the book in hand. No, it's something in that art. So it's with digital and acrylics or any other media.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who carry Kindles in their hands to read. I like holding a book. I love going into a library. I like to smell books.
Yes.
So, and that probably has a lot to do with like painting as well. I like the feel of a painting. I like to walk up to it and just feel the painting, because it's coming at you. On digital, it's a flat surface. Painting,
you can really feel the texture.
The texture on a painting is alive.
Of course,
it's just so alive. A digital, it doesn't feel alive to me. But the one thing about digital is it's really getting to be very popular. But it's not the same thing putting it on the wall.
It's not. I think that too. It's gonna be the next point, but not for all of us, because there are still people that like to feel this, as you said, the canvas, the pencil, the color, how you can play with it, and you have the control over it more when you're painting naturally by hand.
Yeah, people. One thing, people who do oils, I give them a lot of credit. It's I envy them quite a bit because they do such beautiful work, and how they do it is sometimes it's mind-boggling to me because you have to stand so far away to actually do the painting.
Yes.
One thing I like about acrylic more than anything is you can stand and look at your painting really close and see something so different in the art, and you can sit farther away and you can see the same painting in a different light.
Yes, a different angle, so to say.
Yeah, well, that's one thing about acrylic that I really enjoy is that I don't care where you sit in the room, you can see that painting. On a oil painting, the only way you can look at that painting is far away. You can't get close to that painting. It's because it's going to be distorted.
Yeah, it will look kind of blurry, and you can and the angle that you're looking, it's not always the same. So if you're right in front of it, it will be better to understand the entire picture as when you're looking for a 90-degree or something angle.
Yeah, that's one thing. And one thing too, that's another thing with the watercolors. You can don't care where you sit with watercolors, you can see the beauty of watercolors. But mostly watercolors is done in small frames. So unless you do watercolors in a very large type of canvas paper, and there is a guy in South Carolina that does a lot of different types of textures of watercolors on different things besides paper. He works with 100% cotton, which is always the number one thing to go is cotton. But they have cotton canvases now that you can do larger watercolors.
Yes, already processed, and you can simply buy them and start working.
Yeah, I haven't done them yet because so far I'm really kind of tickled. I think the largest I get on a canvas is probably maybe a 12 by 12.
Okay. 12 by 12.
But I don't think I would want to go any larger than a 12 by 12 canvas of watercolors at this point. I know you can make a print of that watercolor in a larger form. I've had someone actually do a print of my work of watercolors, and they made it into a 24 by 18.
But you still need to process the image.
Yeah, so they processed the image, and they took the watercolor that I did, and they made it into a canvas of acrylic instead.
Okay.
Which, fine, if you want to do that and frame it, and FAA, Fine Art America, will do that for you. They'll actually take your watercolors and put it into acrylic, and so someone can put it hanging on the wall in a very larger style.
But the experience is not the same.
No, it's not. It's not the same. I'd rather than buy my watercolor painting as it is.
As an original, and yes.
But they needed it in a larger style for what they were using it for.
I understand. I have one last question for you. what would you suggest to the newcomers, to the new artists that are now starting?
What am I suggesting that I would tell a new artist to do?
Yes.
I probably would have them. Now is the age of
Trying.
getting on your computer and looking at different artists. And I would probably suggest them to go on like YouTube and look at different artists' work.
Yes.
Yeah, I would have
learn different styles.
That way they don't spend any money. They can actually look at different type of artists and different styles that they do, because there's many people who do different art, and they do not mind teaching you what they do.
Yes.
But just remember, that's their style, and it's not written in stone. That's the way you should do your art.
Of course. You should always adapt. Make it yours.
Yeah. Everybody's different. If I was going to teach you my style of art, that does not mean that mine's written in stone. Everybody's different. And the artists that I rather enjoy, that I try to learn off of them, is that my art's totally different because I made my own style. And everybody will make their own style eventually. And be patient. If you don't seem like you have a style yet, take your time. You're learning.
Don't give up. It's a process.
Yeah.
What colors do you work most of the time?
The colors are really my favorite colors to paint with are teal, which is a blue-green. I like it's hard to...
Something like turquoise or
it's a color that I just kind of go to if I can use it. I'm really using it. I like teal. I don't use it enough as much as I really enjoy it, because I guess most of the paintings I do have so much different colors, and I really like color. Teal and an orange. Those two colors are probably one of my favorite colors to paint with.
Orange has a surreal effect on the eye, I think.
The oranges?
Yes, the orange color. The orange color.
I have it. I like to use orange in sundowns and in a picture. Except for doing a sunset, I think orange is a beautiful color in a sunset. The paint I use, I like to use Schmidt, which is, I think you find that more over in Europe.
Schmidt. Yeah, it sounds like a German name.
Yeah, it's now that type of paint gives more of a stone feel to a painting. Yes. So if you want something with kind of a it's not smooth. It has more of a texture in it.
A bit of a rockish texture to it.
Yeah, it's like a rock. Or if you can use it if you're going to use it to do a solar system type skies with planets, you would use Schmidt to do it. I love their paint. They're just they're a little bit on the expensive side, so that's kind of that turns it. And my favorite paints to use on watercolors are usually Winsor and Daniel Smith.
Winsor, yes.
I like Winsor it's more solid. It when you put water to it, it makes a nice thick puddle instead of making more of a watered. I like it you can use very little of Daniel Smith, and Windsor, it does last a little bit longer. Now, for people who are new and want to get into art, and they want to learn, I definitely would suggest doing YouTube, and to find artists that are rather good. And the artists I would suggest would be Paul Clark, who is, I think, in England, and The Mind of Watercolors, who's in, and that is, I do believe that's Steve, and he's in Greenville, South Carolina.
The Mind of Watercolors.
The Mind of Watercolors. Now, The Mind of Watercolors is, he does landscapes, trees, and he does abstracts. And he does a beautiful job in abstracts. He shows you how you put ink down on a piece of paper and make an art out of it. He does just beautiful work. If you've never seen it, I would definitely pop in and look. The Mind of Watercolors. Yeah, The Mind of Watercolors. I totally at the top of my list. Paul Clark is another one who does landscapes that you can pick up so easily, and he's a great teacher. Now, if you want to do abstracts and doodling at the same time, I would pick Creations with CC, and it's pronounced CCEECEE, and she is in Canada. Okay. And she does doodling, and she does doodling, and she does flowers. She does, but she does a really beautiful job if you want to move doodling in, and her favorite color is gold.
Gold, okay.
Yeah, she loves gold. But those are probably my three top ones that I would go to if I'm going on YouTube to look for artists that are good teachers. They have artists that show you for beginning art, and I would not pay to do art when you're first starting out. There's just too many people who can teach it to you.
Of course, some mentor, yeah.
And don't spend a lot of money. Just start it either. If you start with like watercolors, which I think is a good start, or you can start with acrylics. Either one, acrylics or watercolors, I think, are both going to cost you about the same. I think you'll go through paint faster in acrylics than watercolors. I think if you're delicate, take your time. Don't try to use all the. I think watercolors works your mind not to use a lot of color, because then you just get smutty, and then you don't have any art at all.
Yes, but in watercolors you need a bit more finesse with watercolors, a straighter hand, so to say. So,
and you can get what I call a little bit of colors. If you just get your basic colors and your acrylics, your blues, whites, yellows, blues, whites, yellows. And I think you can put like, not really brown in there. If you can make brown, get a color wheel, and see what you can actually start to blend your colors. Learn how to do that. Then you won't buy as many color tubes of paint.
Yes.
In watercolors, there's And I find even watercolors or acrylics, in acrylics, you can get pink easy with acrylics, but pink is not the most easiest color to blend in watercolors, but you can use gouache and watercolors. A lot of people don't think a gouache is a watercolor per se to use. I think it depends on who you ask. I use gouache a lot of times to blend with my watercolors to make it lighter. It's really up to.
Does it blend well?
Yeah, I don't find it to be a bad idea, but it's just that's just me. Daniel Smith does make a white, but I do believe he's calling it gouache as well. But I think most people do think gouache is all right to use in watercolors. The only thing is to make a really brilliant white in watercolors, it's best to use the cotton canvas to show your white than to use gouache.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then you want to use, here we go, you're going to want to use a glue type substance that you can take off of your canvas, that you can put on your, that's just another way of, so you can take it off so you can have the white, that you don't cover it up.
Okay. Yes, I understand what you mean.
Yeah, there's a kind of a glue you put down, and it's kind of like a rubber type thing, and you can paint down on your canvas, and then once it's dry, after you put all your painting down, you can take the glue off easy. It's kind of a rubbery type glue type thing, but it does come off your canvas.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the other things that you can keep adding to your repertoire when it comes to anything like, well, especially watercolors, but in the different things about the colors that you use in acrylics is how much you want to spend on the color itself.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't find too many colors in acrylics that are not really good.
What do you mean?
I think they're all rather good. There's some that are very watery. I would tend not to use those, and how you can basically tell when you're getting acrylic paint, and it's in a bottle and not so much of a tube. Those are usually more watered down. If it's in a jar, some of those jars are really good paint. It's the ones I find more in, it looks more of a plastic tubes.
Yes.
That look more like like a water jug like this.
Mm-hmm.
Those usually have too much water in them. I would just, if you shake it and you find out that you have a lot to shake in the bottle itself, then that's more watered down paint. You don't need that. And they try to sell that for people who are brand new doing acrylic painting, and I think it's really sad.
I had a few of those.
Yeah, I find that you get a bunch of them and then you end up throwing them away.
That's true. That's true.
Yep, I know I got a bunch of them. I ended up throwing it away when I first started.
It's not money well spent.
I was trying to think what else you were asking.
The balance between work and finding time to create.
Time. Okay. I find more time to create when I'm working. Is, of course, it's going to be, I designate some time on your weekend that you can do it. I find Sundays to be probably your more relaxed time to actually paint.
Mm-hmm.
I find when you're working a 5-day work week or a 7-day work week, the only time you really have off is like one day to get everything, your house done, your bills done, whatever, and then you need a day of just total relaxation. It usually lands up on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And allow yourself at least 3 hours. At least 3 hours. You're never going to get it done within an hour or so. You want to let go and just enjoy your painting. Not to worry about what's going on in the rest of your home. And you need a quiet spot to do it in. But you need it in a time that you got really good light. If you can get where a window is that can shine on your canvas, then you got a good spot. It doesn't matter how big your spot is where you're painting, as long as you got like the light from the outside looking in on your canvas, I think is always great.
It paints a beautiful picture.
It makes a better picture. If you're in an area that you're seeing more winter, then you are seeing a lot of sunlight, and then I would definitely get really good lighting in the room that you're actually doing your painting.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a lot of beautiful floor type. I use the lighting that I use for doing photographing. If I'm photographing something like a vase of flowers, I will get lighting to make sure that the whole flowers in the vase is looking really good.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I like to do pictures of different things in an area to make you think what the picture is trying to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Like make it like a collage.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yes.
So that you're looking at a small collage and you're doing a photograph of it, but the photograph is basically asking you a question. I put one picture and I had a watch, a band, and a ring that you wear on your finger, a bracelet.
And you create a story with all of them.
Okay, yeah. The story is what part of this picture shows bondage.
Yes.
Okay, so and then you actually can pick from the picture what it is that actually does. So it's actually asking you a question or showing you this is bondage, which all of it was.
The connection of all of them.
Exactly.
Yes.
It was quite interesting. I like to do some of those. I don't do them enough. I wish I did. I have a big collection of clocks.
Okay.
So I've always wanted to see if I could actually put most of them together and see if you can see which one tells the right time.
Oh, okay. Do you paint with the clocks? So something in the style of Salvador Dali, or?
The clocks are all different. The one thing I like about a lot of my clocks is that they move and they play music.
Oh, okay.
A lot of them. My father was a big collector of clocks that came from Switzerland and Germany, and he brought a lot of them over when he was there, and a lot of them were so delicate that I didn't move them. I just left them when he brought them, and because of the timing mechanisms in the clocks, they move inside all the time.
Yes, the mechanical time. Yeah.
But you got to be really careful about the little metal thing that makes them move.
Yes.
They're very So
there are collectibles. So
yeah, I got a lot of them. I got most of all the clocks that I have have some type of moving mechanism in them.
Mhm.
And a lot of them, I have them on walls.
And if they all sing, how do you find the focus to create when you're painting? Because as an artist, you must go into that flow state when you are painting and you find yourself in the story of it.
Okay, how do I focus?
Yes, because if they're singing at different times, then that can be a bit disturbing once in a while. When painting or creating or focusing on a task.
Once I got an idea of what I want to paint, and usually that's in my mind for a few days long before I even get on the canvas. I try to get a very quiet spot to actually paint. And my studio is at the end of my house, on one end of the house, which is focused with two large windows, which makes I'm very happy about the room itself.
Plenty of light.
The room has quite a bit of light in it. It's not a very large room. I'd say it's probably 11 by 11 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
11 foot by 11 feet. Yeah, I don't think it's all that large. It was made to be a workout studio or an office.
Okay.
So, and I basically use it. I use the same room as an office, as well as I use it as an art studio. So I use it for two reasons.
A bureau or something.
So I use it for two different things.
Mm-hmm.
I use it for an office as well as I use for an art studio. So I usually get in my studio around anytime between 11 o'clock in the morning, and I can be in that studio basically until the sun starts to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Because time just goes. I don't really look at the time or look at my clocks. I'm basically looking what I'm doing that painting, and that painting has got me enthralled until I think I've got at least most of it accomplished. I'm never going to be finished with that painting, and a lot of people think when they finish the painting, oh, it looks great. It's not. It's not finished. You put it aside, you look at it, you don't do anything more to it, and the next day,
you find something.
I do not sign my painting until maybe 3 days after I painted it, because I'm going to look at that painting and find something that needs to be put or changed.
I can fully understand that, yes.
Yeah, it's never quite really finished when you think it is. I found that out a long time ago. I used to say, okay, this is the finished work, I'm done. And then I sign it and I realize, oh no, I could have made a change here, or I could have done a change there. Don't overdo your painting when you're first doing it. It's best to not do that and sit back on it and wait till the next day and look at it again. That way you don't overdo your painting, but then you make gentle touches to it the next day.
Of course, that's true. I had this problem in the beginning as I started, and at the first glance, okay, it looks fine, but the second day, oh, I could do this better, or could leave this behind or something. It's always something that needs to be done the day after.
Exactly. It's you'll find that you'll see things that you need to change. Like the one I'm working on now, I've done 2 changes on it, and I'm going to make another change to it because it's just not working with the tall trees. And I'm really kind of like going back and forth on actually adding a person into this painting, walking
Some character in the middle or
Yeah, in the middle of it, going into
the forest.
the light.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I'm going to add it or not, or if it's going to really not going to really make it. It won't do, it won't do it justice. You gotta remember wherever that painting's going, it's going in probably someone's house or someone's business, and it's someone else that's going to be looking at it. So, would you like to see the whole picture as a landscape, or would you someone put a person into the painting itself? I have quite a few landscapes in doctors' offices. They land on walls, which is really kind of pretty. So every time I go into a doctor's office, I can. My very first painting I ever sold was to a gynecologist, and it was actually a blue abstract. And it was a very quiet, not a lot, there wasn't really a lot to the painting itself. It was done in really light colored blues with white. And there were 3 of them. And they were in the main room where women would come in before they saw the doctor. And I found it to be very, very calm.
Yeah, very soothing colors.
Yes.
Yes.
I think in a gynecologist's office, I think that's really kind of a neat thing to have, something soothing, but nothing that you'd want to look on the wall. And I think landscapes would not be the answer for that kind of a doctor, but those light blue abstract, I can't even remember exactly what it was, but it was done in 2 types of blues, or maybe 3, in white, and that they're very, very gentle and very soothing. So I think that was lovely. It's funny how that when I went to college, I studied the arts, and I ended up graduating as an interior decorator, which is
it runs in the family.
it's in the art, yeah. It really helped me in the art family because I got you pick a lot of beautiful pictures that go on walls for people's home.
Yes.
And you want the pictures to match the people who are going to be living in the home, and to match the room that the picture is going in.
Of course.
So
the decorations and the walls. Yes.
So when you paint your art, it's nice to think about where your art is going to go. Are you going to make an art that's going to go into a dining room, a kitchen, or a living room, or a bedroom? My bedroom has beautiful art pictures of the ocean. I like waking up in the morning and thinking I'm looking at the ocean, the tide coming into the shore.
Yes, the calming effect of it, and it says how the day will go sometimes, because if you wake in a medium where the picture that you have around, they are somewhat disturbing, so to say, then
yes.
it may have a different effect as you would wish.
Exactly. Whenever you wake up, when you first wake up, that's really going to be what your start of your day is going to be. So if it's nice and soothing, if it's really, really busy on the wall, or it's got a poster up there that's actually saying a lot of stuff on it, it's not, I don't think it's going to give you enough some people need something usually dramatic when they first wake up so they can get started really quick. So everybody's different. I like something I feel rather comfortable and soothing when I'm waking up.
Yes.
I don't want to be jerked out of bed. I really rather be gently wake up. It's time to get up.
I think it also has something to do with the type of work everyone has, don't you think? So
Yeah, well, I think it has a lot to do with that. But a lot of people like to first thing that they get up in the morning, they want to think about exercising. There is to an exercise room, which I think is kind of cool too. So I don't know if people even think about doing that. There is some art on Fine Art of America that does show, and it's mostly done in photographs, but there's a guy on there that actually does, his work is done in bodybuilding and art with types of anything that does anything to do with exercising and photo art for the body itself.
yes.
So
To give a little bit of motivation, or
yeah, there's a lot of motivation in his art, and it's really beautiful. And I could see that being going into a room where you do a lot of exercising. I think it'd be absolutely fantastic. There's a lot of people on Fine Art of America that have lots of different ways they do their art. And you could just spend practically all day long looking at just on search, looking for different things of people who do different types of art. I do believe there's a lot of people who do art for the dining room and kitchen. Easy. You know, and people do, I think, a lot of beautiful art for libraries.
Libraries, right, yes.
And then a lot of people do a lot of art for doing wine. There are a lot of people do, they have a whole designated room just for their wine. So you can go into it, you sit down like a dining room table and you drink wine, and they have a very entertaining area. It's like a whole wine room. And you can there's a piece of my art that went into a room dedicated just like that. I thought that was really interesting. But it was a very kind of a dark landscape, but I thought it was really pretty.
In the right environment, it's when it passes to the environment that it is, then it's already beautiful.
Say that again, Don.
But when the artwork passes to the right environment, then it's already beautiful.
I'm not quite understanding that one.
When the artwork passes in a beautiful way to the room, to the environment, then it's already appreciated. It's already beautiful.
Yeah, there's people do different types of. I like people who do different types of art, and it doesn't matter what you get into and do, because that art will find its way to a person who would like to buy it. Oh, I know one of the questions you asked is where you can actually sell your art.
Is it only on Fine Art of America, or do you have also?
Fine Art of America actually is a great place to sell your art. I think there's places in your hometown that you can take your art to. They have like places they do, they're like fairs, or they're places that you can take your art outside, and people actually they go and buy your art. I mean, there's always kind of like cute little ways you can actually sell your art. I had a friend of mine actually went and sold her art one time right in front of her yard, just to see if she could actually sell it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did
but
it work?
that's kind of related to depending. Oh, I'll tell you another one that's really kind of a cool idea. This gentleman came up with this idea of going to people's houses and painting their houses. And while they were painting their houses, people who actually saw them painting their house actually bought his art. So
He did a good work.
it was actually a great idea. You go in front of someone's house, paint their house, and then they buy your picture.
Yes, it's a nice marketing idea. You really need to have the courage for it.
Yeah, it was a great idea. The market, how you can market your own art to make sure you can get it actually bought.
Yes.
And if you really enjoy painting homes on a canvas, and hoping that they're going to buy it, great. If not, you're going to have a lot of canvases with a lot of houses on it.
Well, okay, you may try a few times and see how it works. I don't think it was the first house, or? Yeah.
I would say the ones I think have probably worked the best are the old houses.
All houses?
Yeah, houses that've been built for long periods of time, been there for a long time.
Yes.
Like if the house is way over 20 years, 30 years old, even if it was built in, here we have houses built in the 1700s, and of course those houses have been built much older than the United States, that's for sure. The United States didn't start really building any houses, I think, here into the 1700s. But I think Germany and Switzerland, they have much older houses.
Yes. They are a bit older.
Yeah, just a bit. Of course,
Sorry. There is this style here that everyone likes to have this old. They don't change the outside from the house. They like to have the old style. Here in Germany, for example.
The one thing that I see a lot of people do is they have the old style houses on the outside and the inside is modernized.
Yes. It doesn't bad. I don't think it's a nice choice, my opinion, because there are two different styles and it's pretty hard to mix that. I thank you for this meeting, and I will do this again if you have time. And if you want to have another talk once in a while, I'm.
Oh, sure, that'd be great. It'd be fun. And
it's been a nice talk, and I enjoy.
Oh, I enjoy it too, and I do hope this worked out really good for everybody. Well, thank you so much for your time and doing this together.
Thank you too, Inez. I really enjoyed this, and I hope that you have a beautiful day.
You too. Take care.